This is the gearbox out of my 1970 1750 GTV. I have no idea what kind of condition this is in internally. The engine that was in the car was completely seized, so I'm not sure what I should expect here. There's only one way to figure it out, and that is to take it apart. But I promise I'm going to put it back together. Right, now that it's apart, I can see what's actually going on with this thing. Someone's been in here before and changed the second gear synchro, because the second gear is always the one that goes on these Alfas, and this one looks pretty good. First gear looks a little tired, the others look pretty good. But the big thing that stands out to me is this operating sleeve, the synchro sleeve. The teeth are really, really dull, especially on the second gear side, so it had been grinding for a long time before somebody changed it. With blunt teeth like this, it's going to be difficult to get it in gear. Now I know what needs changing. That synchro, number one, the synchro sleeve, and I'll go through the rest of it and make sure it's all good. So the basic trouble with my gearbox is that it has a couple worn out parts. Most of those parts are on the output shaft. So these hubs, basically, they transmit the force from your gear via the synchro operating sleeve onto the output shaft. When you're shifting a gear in a car, all you're doing is pressing the synchro operating sleeve onto that gear, and that locks it in place, and it drives the, you just gotta imagine that this is part of that, and that drives the power through. What happens over time is that this friction surface here wears out, and then you cannot correctly synchronize the speed between these two things. So what you're happening when you're getting grating gears is the teeth on this ring hitting the teeth on here and not engaging properly. That's why, like, the teeth on this ring are slightly worn down. They're a bit rounded because they've been grating on first gear a little bit. It hasn't worn out the teeth on the gear yet. So that's really good. It's worn down the teeth on this. I think maybe this gear was replaced at some point. Yeah, the biggest issue is really the first and second gear synchros, not the second so much, but the first. This worn out operating sleeve. What you really don't want are teeth, are these gears hitting each other while they're trying to synchronize in speed. Luckily, I've got all the parts I need to do this, so what I'm going to do now is actually clean up the gearbox casings, get them ready to put all the internals back in, and I'm going to go and flip all these synchro rings, change out the really bad ones, get a new one of these, and then we can start assembling everything. But yeah, it's basically, yeah, that is essentially the core of the issue. Right, so there it is, one fresh gearbox for a 1750 Alfa GTV. So this was actually quite a lot of work, a lot more work than appeared on video. I made a couple mistakes and had to split the case again to fix them, but it is done. This has been a long video in the making, but at least we have a gearbox ready to go for the 1750 when we get around to assembly. So anyway, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. You're a huge nerd, and just like me. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.